Just before I started Traystique, I actually was at Revlon, and there I was a global product developer where I worked on almost all the categories, including color, hair, nail, lip, color stories, beauty tools, skincare, and one of the categories was lip. And it was my favorite because I really loved the colors, the textures, the formulations, just the variety that lip as a category offered. Back then, of course, it was all about traditional formats like lipsticks and lip glosses, and lip stain was just a brand new category. And there I had discovered a really cool formula called the Just Bitten Lip Stain, which ended up being one of Revlon's biggest launches, and it was basically their first ever crayon, if you will. Still to this day, I think it's a really good seller for them. And I loved sort of the balmy texture, the ease of putting on the crayon, just like how fast and portable it was. And I found that the thing about crayons that I loved most was actually the one-handed application, especially with this type of formula. You can just literally, take off your cap, apply and be talking, or apply on the go. And it made a really big difference for me in terms of my makeup application and the routine every day, just sort of this like ease. And I used to have one in every single pocket, keep it with me. My lips were moisturized. I had a little bit of color and shine. And so I fell in love with this format. And then of course, eventually I left Revlon and I started Traystique. And I was really passionate about crayons and pencils. And fast forward to obviously our Essential 8 routine, which is a routine that fits in the palm of your hand. I really wanted to create lip crayons that were part of course, the crayon and stick concept, but something that was unique for Traystique. So, even back with the products, I think the cool thing about the packaging obviously is like our custom cap that makes it look really fun and cute. But for me, with a matte formula, it was really important to make the tip pointy. I really wanted the crayon format to double as a lip liner and a lipstick. So you could get really precise and create sort of that line without filling in at first, so you didn't mess up. And I can even do that while I'm talking. It's really, really, really creamy. And the formula that I chose was actually the combination of a matte texture with a gel. And why that's so cool is because you get a lot more hydration, a lot more glide, a lot more ease when you're putting it on your lips, and a lot less drag. Whereas traditional matte formulas are very heavy, very dry, very uncomfortable. And I love that you can just propel the crayon up a little bit and just use the side and fill in. And so with this matte crayon, this is chili red, by the way, I was mostly really inspired by travel. Like I am, it's really probably my only hobby besides exercising, and it's something that I didn't get a chance to do a lot of growing up. And travel is something that I incorporated into my life after I turned 30 and after I started Traystique, and now I travel all the time with my husband and my family, and I really love it. But I was always inspired by travel, and I really wanted to create a makeup line that was good for travel. And this was back before the trend of travel. Now in 2020, everyone is traveling, even if you're going on a backpack trip, or even if you're going away for the weekend. It's really cool, and it's much more part of our daily life. But the shade names were really inspired by places. So chili red, side note, I grew up on a farm on the North Fork, and we grew a lot of different vegetables, a lot of heirloom varieties, and I was really inspired by the colors of the tomatoes, the colors of the peppers, and we grew really different types of things outside of just green bell peppers, for example. So we had chili peppers on the farm, and we actually had these amazing plants that had literally every kind of colored chili pepper on them. There was like orange and yellow and red and purple, and they were so cool, and I loved them. And literally when I made this color, I was thinking about the tiny little red one, and so I named the color Chili Red. I've also never been to Chile, but I do plan on going there one day. But that's where this color came from. And then I had, this is Tuscan wine, so this is a little bit of a darker red. it's a bit of a wine color, so you can see my lips. This is more of a bright, and this is more of like a brick red. It's more neutral. It's pretty even toned. But the cool thing about this Tuscan wine shade is that, or where I was inspired by, what was so cool is a place called Forte dei Marmi. It's in Tuscany. I only went once. It's a beautiful seaside town, and I was really inspired by the women there, and they really, they're super chic, they're European, and the wine and the lipstick color that they always wore was burgundy, and it was sort of like this great combination of this beach casual, and then like you would dress up and go to nice restaurants at dinner, which is my ultimate favorite thing to do. So I named it Tuscan wine because it was really after sort of the European vibe of, you know, everyone is drinking and enjoying life and also looking beautiful. The other thing I forgot to mention was this really cool lip balm on the other side, and this is a BB lip balm. So it's meant to really moisturize, condition your lips, and provide healing benefits. Actually, if you use it all the time, it really gives you this really beautiful shine, moisturization. It's like your souped up chapstick. And you can change the finish of your lipstick. So I loved the flexibility. I love sometimes being able to wear like a matte lip and sometimes being able to wear a shiny lip and mixing it up. And then last but not least was Barcelona, my favorite. So obviously it's a more bright shade, a brighter shade, I should say. And it's like this fuchsia pink. And I studied abroad in Barcelona, and I have like a really soft spot for this color because this is where I fell in love with my husband. And we actually met in college before studying abroad and had applied to this program unbeknownst to each other. And we lived there together. We traveled a little bit. We mostly studied and hung out in the city. And this color really reminds me of sort of the mood of the place. And it was always such a vibrant city, and honestly, we were very poor students, and we used to drink sangria. It was always €2, and it was less expensive than bottles of water. So we'd go out, and I would look at the colors of the sangria in those huge glass pitchers with the fruit floating inside, and you could sort of see this like these fuchsias and these berries through the glass. So this is reminiscent of the sangria, of the flowers that were on the street, of like the mood and the feeling that I think of when I think of Barcelona. And so yeah, so that's the story of just 3 of our lips. I hope that you'll try them. My skin tone has yellow undertones, and I'm more of an olive skin tone, so I can actually wear all of these. I wear Tuscan wine the most, but I am going to show you on another video how you can wear these and style these lips and change it up. Stay tuned.